This week, migrant crossings at the U.S. southern border have spiked, with agents processing more than 10,000 people each day. Yesterday, President Biden spoke with Mexico's president about what to do to address the situation. Ed O'Keefe has more on what that conversation was all about. He's at the White House. Ed, good morning.
Anne-Marie, good to see you. In that call with Mexico's President López Obrador, the two agreed that additional enforcement actions are urgently needed. And in a sign of how big a deal this is, the president is sending Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to Mexico in the coming days. It's happening as the political fight over what to do about immigration and border security is not letting up. This week, Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent about 100 migrants on a chartered flight to Chicago, marking an escalation after busing migrants to Democratic-run cities for the past few months. The White House condemned that move, calling it, quote, a political stunt. Meanwhile, here in Washington, House Speaker Mike Johnson called on the president Thursday to use his executive powers to turn back or detain people illegally crossing the border and to have Mexico reinstate a Trump-era policy that had migrants wait in that country as they apply for asylum in the U.S. The White House insists it's doing everything it can without congressional action. The Speaker's office turns around and says, no, you're not. That's an insult to Americans. It's a sign that while we may be on the verge of a new year, Anne-Marie, Washington still has some of the same old fights to settle.
Yep, everything old is new again. So let me ask you this, Ed. You know, the White House and the president has certainly suggested that he'd be willing to compromise, that he's willing to entertain some sweeping changes in border policy, particularly in order to convince Republicans to maybe pass more aid for Ukraine. Do we know anything about those proposals? What's being discussed? Would they be enough to move the needle?
Well, it's not necessarily going to stop people from trying to get into the United States, because none of the proposals being discussed actually get at the root cause of why people are leaving Venezuela, Central America, some countries in Africa and Asia to get to Mexico and then try to cross over. But what they are trying to do is beef up what they call interior enforcement, or the idea that if you're a migrant who's in the States and maybe has been here only 2 to 3 years or so and it did not end up applying for asylum, you could conceivably get rounded up and sent back to your home country as part of some of the details that have been put on the table that the White House at least hasn't denied is at least part of the conversation. Other things like maybe tweaking the president's parole authority, or that special legal status he was able to grant to people from Afghanistan, Ukraine, Haiti, for various political or man-made disaster reasons, suggesting Republicans are that maybe that's being overused by the president. It seems they want to hold on to that just in case. So those are the kinds of things being talked about. But the fact that we haven't heard much about the details suggests that almost everything is still in play and almost nothing has been settled.
I want to ask you about Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, that new move that he did, that new law that kind of made the enforcement, border enforcement, put it in the hands of the state and state lawmakers. So the expectation is there's going to be legal challenges. There already are legal challenges, I think. It wasn't due to be implemented until March. But I'm really curious about reaction from lawmakers, in particular Republican lawmakers, on this new immigration law in Texas.
Not much critical response from Republicans to this. Democrats are joining those lawsuits that have already been filed or say they will file their own, and they're pushing for the Justice Department to also file suit before that law takes effect in March.
All right, Ed, thank you.